Welcome everyone to today's webinar. This is your informative webinar where curriculum meets connection, highlighting the automatic alignment of Learning Genie's Discover and Grow curriculum with class. I'm your energetic, happy, informative, and excited host, Dr. Erica Dallas. I've been in education for a little over 16 years in every realm of education, stemming from state-funded, private, charter, public, and military. I've been in multiple roles throughout my career, of which 10 of those years was working in the classrooms with educators as a teacher, director, and program director. So let's get excited about building together the confidence through high quality interactions supported by this strong curriculum. We'll explore how the Unit 3 Healthy Me, Healthy Us supports class aligned interactions and instruction quality through intentionally embedded teaching tips geared to strengthen relationships, engagement, and student learning outcomes. As some of you may know, if you've seen any of my webinars, I like to begin the webinars with an opening thought before we dive in. So here's our opening thought. When curricula and class work together, we don't just plan lessons, we transform learning through meaningful relationships and environments. Take a moment to really think about that, absorb it, let it sink in. Our webinar objectives are as followed. By the end of this session, participants will understand how class connects to the Discover and Grow curriculum, examine real examples from the Unit 3's Healthy Me, Healthy Us lesson plan, identify interaction strategies that could possibly improve your class scoring, leave with implementation strategies for immediate classroom use. Don't you just love opportunities for growth and development? I know I do. So what is class? CLASS stands for the Classroom Assessment Scoring System. It's an observation tool that measures the quality of educator and child interactions. But CLASS is more than just a tool. It's a system for continuous quality improvement that helps programs. It focuses on meaningful interactions, measuring those interactions consistently to improve teaching practices to support every single student's growth in your classroom. I can remember being classed and I can remember looking at my scores and saying, okay, this is an area that I can work on, and this is an area that I'm strong on. I'll sustain this one and do a little more work in this one. So on the screen, you can see the class second edition pre-K grade through third grade tool. The tool is organized into domains that reflect broad categories of educators' child interactions. Within these domains are dimensions that describe more specific aspects of those interactions. So take a moment and take a look at it. So by now, as you look at it, you're probably wondering, so how does this connect with the Discover and Grow curriculum by Learning Genie? Well, let me tell you. The Discover and Grow curriculum focus on improving the quality of teacher-child interactions. It drives stronger cognitive, language, social, emotional, and engagement outcomes. And we know if you think about your classrooms right now, you're like, we have behaviors after behaviors after behaviors. How do we get students engaged, decrease those behaviors, support their educational journeys, etc.? Well, I'll tell you later. It's not about compliance and rigidity, but about relationships, versatility, continuity, connection, and impact. That word continuity, I know you guys are thinking continuity of care. Well, it's embedded as well. The Discover and Grow curriculum focuses on these high quality interactions because they're the strongest predictors of child outcomes as indicated by class. Curriculum planning and class are designed to reinforce each other, not to work independently. So think about the current curriculums that you're using. Are they supporting class? Yes, some may. Do you need additional support? Maybe. We're here to help. It's question time. We're coming right through the gate with questions, you guys. Which class domain feels strongest at your site or in your classroom? Put it in the chat. Is it emotional support, classroom organization, or instructional support? Let's go ahead and type that in. I can tell you, looking at statistics and data, et cetera, there is a decline in social emotional development amongst students. So tell me which one is stronger, emotional support, classroom organization, or instructional support. I'll give you about a minute. Monica, what are you seeing in the chat? What's the trend?
So I'm seeing a lot of emotional support, but we also have mentions of classroom organization, but I'd say the top one would be emotional support.
Oh, wow. Good.
And
That's
then we
really
do
good.
have some instructional. Yeah,
Nice.
but the overwhelming majority is emotional support.
Okay, great. Thank you all for participating. So let's look at the curriculum overview. So it's a class-ready pre-K curriculum that's inquiry-based. It includes hands-on lessons. The Discover and Grow curriculum embeds teacher language, scaffolds, open and questioning prompts, social emotional, dual language strategies into every single activity. Look at that. It's aligned to the PTKLF. All right, you guys, the PTKLF. I'm sure you guys are just diving into the new PTKLF and the new DRDP 2025. And if not, I'm sure it's coming, but it's aligned to the PTKLF and the DRDP 2015 and the 2025. So some institutions and schools have chosen to stick with the 2015 until they really get acclimated to the 2025. This is a great way to do that. So if you haven't really explore the 2025 DRDP, it's embedded into the Learning Genie curriculum. I'm going to suggest you check it out. Check it out. It's pretty phenomenal. Daily class coaching tips for implementation. This is amazing. So it gives you coaching tips. You have your own coach embedded within this curriculum. Child-centered play-based learning. We know that children learn best through play, letting them be free to explore, be themselves, really engage in the environment. It focuses heavily on social emotional development, dual language strategies, culturally responsive practices. There's that word. There's my word, culturally responsive practices. So looking at that culturally responsive, relevant, and sustaining and linguistically aligned practices. I say it all the time. Think about the students in your classrooms, how many you have. Are you really able to authentically, efficiently, and effectively be culturally responsive, relevant, sustaining, and linguistically aligned? That was a lot. Try to say that. Try to say that to yourself. And it also focuses on cognitive development. It's flexible. The units are very flexible, and activities are amazing for diverse learners. So there was a time where I was a new teacher, and I had so many behaviors in my classrooms. I had so many different personalities and cultures. I was just thinking like, how am I going to reach and teach? Because that was the quote of the year for me when I first started. Are you reaching and teaching your students? And I thought to myself, like, how? How can I do that? Well, guess what? This curriculum gives you an even stronger way to do that, to connect to diverse learners, to connect to those dual language IEPs, to connect to those behavior moments where you're like, I don't know how to get you engaged. I don't know how to get you involved. So it's phenomenal. As we explore Unit 3, I want to highlight some of the key features of the Learning Genie's class support planner. The Learning Genie Support Planner is an AI-driven curriculum creation. Teachers can input a current lesson plan, theme, or materials they plan to use, and the AI will generate a complete unit trajectory, including weekly themes and detailed lesson plans. So think about that. If you are currently using a curriculum, you can take components of that curriculum, enter them into the AI box, and it'll create an individualized lesson plan for you. You can also have themes in your classrooms. As you know, students come into your classrooms and they have like I'm interested in dinosaurs this week, and then everybody's interested in dinosaurs. They start wearing the shirts and wearing the shoes and talking about Brachiosaurus and Parasaurolophus and etc. And so now you have a thing. You can go ahead and put that into the AI-driven curriculum creation and create your lesson plan. Materials. If you have some specific materials in your classrooms and you may be low on budget, you can just simply enter in what you have in those materials in that AI-driven curriculum box and it'll create a lesson plan for you. Super cool, right? It's standard-based and inclusive. The tools align with standards and automatically adapts for inclusive classrooms, ensuring lessons are accessible for children and diverse needs and abilities. This includes students who have IEPs, again, those dual language learners, behavior support plans, much, much more. It's unlimited. It's culturally and linguistically responsive. It provides suggestions on adapts to support culturally and linguistically responsive practices for every single student that's in your classroom. There's integrated assessment supports. So lessons are directly linked to the DRDP 2015 and 2025. And the planner provides behavioral indicators. So it'll tell you some ways to modify and some things you can try with your students. There's also some observation tips to simply assess the process that you're going through. And again, we love alignment. We love alignment. So there is that 2025 in PTKLF, DRDP 2025 and PTKLF in there. It's personalized for your diverse learners. The planner offers tailored support strategies for individualized IEPs and suggests at-home activities for families. And so this was like a super cool component where sometimes we'll have parents come and they're like, "What did you guys work on?" They're talking to their child and the child goes, "Work." And they're like, "Okay, what did you do today?" "Art." Okay. So parents want to know more. Parents want to be involved. It gives you suggestions that aligns with your lesson plans to send home with your students. So that school to home, home to school connection is embedded in the curriculum. Super, super duper phenomenal. And the best thing about it is not just the connection, it's that these activities don't involve materials that were like, oh, you got to buy paper, you got to buy paint, got to buy pencils. It's things that you may or may not have around the house, but it can be adapted to what's in the family's homes. It's time saving and efficient. So this automation is much more than what we have ever experienced before. It takes planning to this significant level. It reduces teacher workload and allows them to focus more on the students. Don't you want to focus more on the students? Think about your planning time. Sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. So think about the planning time. Sometimes you have maybe an hour a week to do that. If that, this AI planner will simultaneously create some lesson plans for you in a matter of minutes, depending on how much content you put into that box. It's collaborative and organized. It functions as a central storage system for lessons. Okay, let's talk about decluttering our classrooms. Yeah. So you have everything stored in the system. You don't have to worry about, let me go through and find these lesson plans. Let me modify this. Let me figure this out. Let me figure how this is going to work out for little Jimmy, etc. It's all stored within the system and it's modifiable. You don't have to worry about losing anything. You don't have to worry about those trees that they're using to make those papers. It makes it easy for teams to organize, adapt, and reuse content across classrooms and schools. So I can remember thinking to myself, I wonder what such and such, which is a teacher, is doing at her site this week because I'm having a creative block. And so you can collaborate through the system with other teachers. You can share lesson plans, you can talk about content, you can reuse some of their lesson plans to adapt them to your classrooms. Amazing, amazing, amazingly seamless. All right, so let's dive into the actual unit. Let's take a closer look at the class aligned unit 3, Healthy Me, Healthy Us. There are 4 weeks in this unit. Body awareness, week 1, week 2, nutrition, Week 3, physical activity. Week 4, community safety. Each unit features the support planner. I know you're thinking, what's a support planner? Well, in the previous slides, we discussed the support planner. Here's a glimpse of how the class support planner looks inside the lesson, inside of the curriculum. The support planner highlights the class alignment within every unit of the curriculum. Look at that. Look at that. It shows you how it's aligned across domains and dimensions. Wow. Wow. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. All right, so let's dive deeper into how the curriculum prepares teachers for the class assessment. So you want to know, well, how's it going to work for me? Here's an example of the class embedded practices within the curriculum. So class is intentionally woven in all three domains, including 9 dimensions each week. This could essentially help build like those durable practices and help students develop, which is an important emphasis of class. They focus strongly on students. Let's look at a couple of the weeks in this unit. So week 1 is exploring our feelings. This is that social emotional development. You can just tell social emotional development is going to happen. The class connections is a positive climate, looking at joy and shared experiences. Teacher sensitivity, naming and validating emotions. Regard for student perspectives. So children share stories and choose emotions, etc. So why does it matter? Because it's emotional literacy. It strengthens confidence, empathy, and peer connections. In a world like today, we need that. We need the empathy. We need the connections. So looking at week 2, active body, active mind, music and movement, the class connections is behavior management, consistent movement signals, productivity, smooth transitions, and structured pacing. Instructional learning formats, engage participation and sustained focus. Who doesn't just love a focused student? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm so high energy and high strung that it works sometimes for me, but more than likely I'm jumping around with the kids. Here's another example of the class embedded practices within the curriculum. The slide shows the alignment to the domain classroom organization. Look at that. Amazing, huh? I love it. I really love it. Here's another example. This one is the instructional support. And I know in the chat, some of you put instructional support. So look at how it aligns to class. Look at lesson 3, animal mask props for dancing. And the reason I'm pointing out lesson 3 is because I have done the animal mask props for dancing. Along with the energy comes dancing. So it says for language modeling, while crafting and sharing, model and extend sentences with connectors. My animal uses 2 triangles for each because then recast child replies into longer, precise statements. A little scaffolding going on. All right, now this one shows the instructional support as well. Red light, green light. You've got to play a version of red light, green light. I don't care if you're a supervisor, an administrator. You got to go and play a version of red light, green light. This curriculum helps language modeling. So before the game, model and extend sentences. Red means stop, invite invite the repeats, then follow up. Tell a partner when we use yellow and why. Listen for multi-clause replies. So students are just going to really engage and go, red means go. No, red means stop. Green means go. Yellow means slow. You're going to hear them using all of that language. You can even throw in some shapes in there, etc. You can collect some great DRDP information with this kind of lesson plan. Attending, attention maintenance. You can get a lot of for some fine motor, some gross motor, some locomotor movements, depending on how you structure it. Don't forget those observations, you guys. Within the curriculum, There are class aligned prompts, or what we like to call them in the teaching world, open-ended questions. When I first started out, and I'm going to revert back to this, I did not do well with open-ended questions. And typically, when I asked a question, to students were like, yes, no, I don't know. So I had to learn. And a way that I learned was is I cut some little strips out and I put them in the different areas, interest areas in my classrooms, and I used them as prompts for myself. But guess what? This curriculum has them embedded. So if that's not your strongest area, it's embedded in this curriculum. So as we know, the opening questions invite children to really think deeply, communicate with their ideas, and explain their reasoning rather than just giving those short yes and no answers like I used to get. They build critical thinking, language development, and creativity by encouraging children to explore possibilities, make connections, and express their own perspectives. And that's super important because years and years and years when I was in school, this time I wasn't a teacher, when I was in school, I can remember that my teacher didn't take my perspectives into consideration because I was a child. And so it was this whole mindset, I'm an adult, you listen to me, and you learn. But now this curriculum and of course class and many other things that we're using in our classrooms really emphasizes the importance of students being able to express themselves, giving their own perspective, showing what they can do that's outside of what we taught them. So we don't always want them to just follow it like this. Show me something creative. Show me what you learned. Show me how you would do it. So taking those things into perspective, this curriculum is phenomenal. I'm going to keep saying that. It's phenomenal with allowing children to be who they are, to express themselves, to show you their creativity, and for you to say as a teacher, wow, I'm going to implement that. Or let's tell our friends about that. The daily class tip planner is also embedded within the curriculum, is a practical tool that you can use every day to strengthen your student teacher interactions. Again, I can remember being in the classroom, receiving my class scores and going straight to the positive climate area. So within the class scores, you have that positive climate area, and you're like, oh, it's going to be great. You just worry. I would ensure that what I was doing was making students feel comfortable and seen. That was my biggest thing. I wanted to make sure that my students were able to feel like themselves, were able to be themselves, were able to come and talk to me and tell me anything, tell me what they need, or just to put on that, go in the dramatic area, play and just play and have fun and invite me over and serve me some broccoli. Of course, my scores always ranged really well, which is considered high quality positive interaction. So pat myself on the back. Another tip would be to pair your daily class tip planner with PDAs. And so if you are working on the teaching pyramid, those PDAs are amazing. Positive descriptive acknowledgments are amazing and they're embedded within this curriculum. Sometimes we forget to go, you're using your walking feet. That's being very safe of you. We forget to say those things. Sometimes we just go, "Oh, good job." Nah, let's go deeper. What is the student doing in that moment? And so this curriculum really highlights things that you can say to your students. Once you get this repetition going, it becomes a part of your repertoire, it becomes a part of your verbiage, a part of your language, a part of your everyday life. It becomes natural because once a student shows you something, you automatically go to, you're sharing with your friends. I think that's very respectable and responsible of you. So that's amazingly embedded and woven in this curriculum. If you don't know what PDAs are, I suggest you go ahead and look at the pyramid model. And it's also, there's some explanations of it in the Discover and Grow curriculum as well to teach you a little bit about it. So in the chat, it's question time. Please share with me what dimensions you're focusing on improving this month. What do you want to improve on? What's some dimensions you want to just really work on that you feel like you could strengthen to help those students in your classrooms? When deciding which dimensions to focus on, also consider how it might affect the students. Remember, small intentional shifts Repeat it daily, build a stronger classroom culture. And that's our goal, to build those stronger classroom cultures. So what are you going to work on? Go ahead and pop it in the chat. Give you a few seconds. Everybody needs growth and development. We're all working on something. You can work on all three, you can work on all nine, you can work on just taking some classes, some personal development classes. What are you going to work on? Monica, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing instructional support, emotional support. Let's see what else. Instructional, emotional. Looks like a good mix.
Yeah. Okay.
Foundational language building, concept development.
Ooh, concept development. Okay, you guys, story time. Concept development, that was my lowest scoring area. Concept development. And that was because I don't know, in that area I froze. I would freeze and I would go, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to do the right thing? Am I helping this student really expand what I'm trying to teach them or what they're doing at this interest area table? So that was my that was my area. Concept development was my area. And so I cracked down on that. I really focused on taking some classes through, we're in California, so taking some classes through like SDCOE and places like that to really strengthen my ability to have a stronger concept development skill embedded within myself, within my repertoire to support those students. I focused on like classes at West Ed, etc. So yeah, I can align with that. So here is a closing thought for you as you navigate the world of class, curriculum, and personal growth. The curriculum may guide what we teach, but the quality of our interactions determines who students become. Take a moment to really absorb that. Absorb that. Everything that you do in your classroom, every curriculum that you bring into your classroom, every book, every material, it's meaningful, it's impactful, it's embedded into your students, into the families, the community, everyone that you serve. It becomes a product of every environment that student goes in. So it's best to choose a great curriculum. It's best to work on your personal growth and etc. Right? So thank you so much for joining us and for your dedication to children, families, and the community.